while it was running, this roll pin worked its way out and fell out on the layout, and I haven't found it, so I don't know where it went. Playing up speed wise and starting to sort of jump up and down, hesitate. It's only held at one end, but it was still vibrating, so I had to tuck a bit of sort of foam so long and the sound's intermittent, and eventually it sorts itself out. So there is some corrupt software somewhere for them. So there's all sorts of issues, and it's doing my head in. Bloody hell. Look at that. For no reason that took off full speed backwards. How can you trust them when they're doing things like that? Scare the life out of me. Hello and welcome back to Woodhill Park. Sadly, I've been having some issues with my Curascale Deltic. It's been playing up speed wise and starting to sort of jump up and down, hesitate, do all sorts of things, like the sign that the pickups weren't picking up properly or whatever, but I cleaned everything thoroughly and couldn't find any pickup problem, and gradually it began to slow down on the track, and at one point I couldn't even get it to move, and I was worried about the motor burning out. So I thought, I'm going to have to take it apart and investigate what's going on to see whether the motor's jammed up or what. So I didn't really fancy doing it, as I know from what people have said that bits drop off all over the place. But I got the courage up. I thought, well, what have I got to lose really? I've got to send it back now, and it is over a year old now, so I don't know whether they would argue or not. But anyway, I thought the speaker's making a rattling sound still, and I need to do something about that. So I took it apart, and I couldn't find anything that was holding the motor back, and I was starting to think the motor might be sort of going, and I started doing some searching on YouTube and online, and I come across Graham, was it Falston's YouTube channel, Lakeside, and he was talking about this problem, and thanks to him I didn't spend too long trying to find out whether there was a problem with the motor, because he suggested that it was a CV problem and the CVs hadn't been programmed properly at the factory. So I went down that route and pulled the motor out and got the motor running again just on 12 volts, so there wasn't a problem with the motor, sure enough, and proceeded to sort of listen to what he said about altering the CVs and the information he put on his YouTube channel. So I can't thank him enough for saving me time and trouble in working out what was wrong with this. There was some strange things though. As I was putting it back together, I noticed that the motor was round the wrong way, and it had been wired up to the board wrong way, but if you put it round the right way, then the lights were working in the wrong direction to which the motor was travelling. So I actually had to put the wires back the wrong way around again, which is a bit odd. And some of the soldering was a bit rough. One of the wires fell off to resolder that. I was quite surprised. It's a quite expensive model, this is. Anyway, the speaker was vibrating. There's another common problem that people were talking about. It's only held at one end, so I had to do something to hold that down, a bit of black tack, but it was still vibrating, so I had to tuck a bit of sort of foam between the roof and the end of the speaker to get rid of the vibration still. Also, the chains, if I zoom in, the chains obviously fit on the side of the body, and as people were saying, they just break off and whatever, and I decided to just dispense with them being connected to the body and just connect it near where they would be connected on the body, but on the bogie instead, sort of follow Bachmann's sort of lead where it's just connected to the chassis. But this leaves a point on the body where there's a little hole, whether I could put a little bit of trim in there or something just to lose it, but I'm willing to ignore that and just have it connected on the bogie like this. So you've still got the looper chain, but doesn't give you any hassle if you want to take the body off. The body wasn't too hard to get off. There's only 4 clips to overcome, which you have to put some shims down to get it off. I also started sort of putting a bit of black tack on some of the LED boards that control the lights in the roof, which are for lighting up the interior really, as I thought they may be vibrating with the speaker as well. So I just built some braces and put stuff all over the place to stop anything vibrating. And after playing with the CVs, I've got it running a lot better than it was, because it was gradually getting worse, but it still needs a little bit of tweaking, but I'm so much happier with it now. I think it's even better than when I first received it, because it used to be a little bit jerky at slow speeds, even from new sort of thing. But I'll start up the Loco and you can hear what the sound sounds like. I think it's much clearer and there's no vibration. Still a bit jerky on the very start of movement, but once you've gone past the first 1 or 2 steps, it's really smooth. So I've got a bit more work to iron out the very beginnings of movement, which might take a little bit more tweaking of the CVs, but it's a hell of a lot better than what it was. If I carry on up the scale, it moves across, or moves quite smoothly. It does immediately turn round now, instead of sitting there for a while. The announcements are clearer. I think all the sounds are much clearer and there's no vibration whatsoever. So I think I've nearly sorted this, except for the very slow start at the beginning, like I said. So a little bit more tinkering and tuning up and I think I'm there. But it is a shame that this wasn't sorted out at the factory. And thanks again to Graham. That's not myself, that's Graham Falston at Lakeside for pointing this out and providing the information. I'm also having quite a few different issues with the Hornby HM7000 chips. I took these, well, I didn't have them on the layout for a while, and when I put them back I'm now getting all sorts of different issues, and one of them is this issue where the Loco hops along and the sound's intermittent, and eventually it sorts itself out. So there is some corrupt software somewhere at work, and this happens to all of them no matter what way round I introduce power to it. If I put the power on first and introduce it, or start the app up, all different ways. I've reinstalled the app, I've done everything I can think of, and I'm actually starting to lose them off the roster now as well, and I can't seem to scan for them. So there's all sorts of issues and it's doing my head in. Bloody hell, look at that, for no reason that took off full speed backwards. I hope Hornby sorts these sort of issues out. I have sent an email about these things. I don't know if it's something to do with their network or what over Christmas, but I've been getting loads of issues. How can you trust them when they're doing things like that? Scare the life out of me. I just now installed a different profile from Hornby's website, and it installed okay, and once I ran it all the functions were correct again, including the speed of the motor. So it was a software issue that it's got corrupt in the actual chip. So I'm now downloading the correct profile again to go in this Loco. Hopefully that'll be it, but how's it got corrupt? I don't know. All it was doing was sitting on the side on a shelf, and I just hadn't used it for a while, and then I just put it on the layout, and it was doing the Hornby hop as well as a few others, and that's how it started. It seems to have lost control of itself as well, so the software has got corrupt in it somehow. I don't know how that's happened. Let's hope the new download will put it right. Right, the original software's reinstalled and so far seems to be behaving itself. The speed control is back to normal at the moment. So what I did, just to repeat what I did, was to upload a different profile. I think it was a class 67. Put that into it so it totally wiped the original profile, just in case I went over it and it didn't make any difference, and then reinstalled its original profile over the 67 profile, as the 67 profile worked okay with the speed control. So it seems to have done the trick. So it is a software glitch. Somehow it's lost its original programming and gone a bit haywire. This is just one of the issues I'm getting though, or have had. They do this, what I've nicknamed it, the Hornby hop, and they seem to hop along. That's probably the pulse from the DCC, but don't sort of engage with the control set. So sometimes they wake up and stop, and sometimes they don't. I tried powering on all different ways and doing all different things, but some of the ones I've put on there, the actual chip seems to have lost the ability to be found now as well, which is crazy. So I've emailed customer services at Hornby to ask what the hell was going on with these, because you shouldn't, you know, have a bother if you just haven't used them for a while and then decide to get them out and put them on the track. It comes up on the device or on the tablet or phone saying link device. Once it's calmed down, it finds it. In this case it has, but it won't allow you to link it. So it knows it's there, but it won't let you link it for some reason. So I don't know if they need resetting, and a few of them now, because they're played up, I haven't got the resetting code, because I didn't think I'd have to reset them, as I haven't done anything with them other than pick them up and put them back on the track. So why should I need to reset them? And I've also tried moving them across from my phone to my tablet and vice versa, and in so doing I seem to have lost a few of them, you know, that won't even come up on the scan. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm wondering whether it's something to do with Hornby's network. Maybe the network's gone crackers over Christmas. Pardon the pun. If you can see, I've scanned for the devices, and I've got all the devices that are sitting on the track, but I can only control 2 of them that are already controllable by my tablet. Now I've reset my phone and scanned for them, I can't control any of them from my phone, including the steam engine I've just put on there. It won't let me link them. It just says about resetting them. So it's almost like the network is not working for Hornby at the moment or something, because I'm not getting the option to link these to my phone to use to control. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, I've sort of shelved the problem at the moment, as it's wasting too much of my life trying to find out what the issue is at the moment, and I got a feeling it's something to do with Hornby, not what I'm doing. I've also been doing a lot of firefighting on my layout, meaning that a lot of things have been going wrong. You know, locos needed maintaining, and also failing as well. And what I had with this Bachmann Class 90 was a failure on one of the bogies. The bogies, I found only one set of bogies was driving, and it was causing issues with it doing all funny things, slowing down and whatever. Anyway, I realised that the drive was lost at one end, and I decided to investigate it. So I took it all apart. It took a bit of time and nerve-wracking, but it took a while to find it. But what it was the bogie tower, I don't know if you can see it on camera, has got a roll pin that goes in to a major drive cog in here. Now you can see super glue on that, because that's what I've done, because I don't trust him no more. But what had happened while it was running, this roll pin had worked its way out and fell out on the layout, and I haven't found it, so I don't know where it went. I actually had to cut down a drill bit the right size and push it through the hole and line it up with a cog, and, you know, just glue it in place very carefully either side. I mean, it was a tight fit, but I'm not trusting it. And I've also done the other end what hasn't worked its way out yet, but might in the future. So there's a little blob of super glue around it just to prevent it doing that again. But I think that's a bit of a design fault, that these can work their way out. Obviously there's lubrication inside these towers, and they can lubricate this pin to fall out, which is not too great. Anyway, after a bit of fuffing around, I've now got my Class 90 running well again, but it's literally just a year old and it doesn't get run too much, so I was very surprised having a fault like that. I suppose in a final summing up, I've managed to fix my Accurascale Deltic diesel thanks to YouTubers out there giving out the information on these sort of problems, and hopefully in the future I won't get any issues with it. And as for the Bachmann Class 90 with the pin falling out of the drive tower in the bogie, that should never happen, and there should be a better way of securing them in place, and there shouldn't be mechanical issues like this. And also the HM7000 system, I invested a lot of money in this, about £500 in chips and stay alives, so I hope I hear something back and they improve the system, because at the moment it's driving me hoppy mad. So we'll have to see what happens. But I'm not particularly happy with the way things are at the moment. But these things are sent to testers, and running a layout is quite often a continuous maintenance thing, as you'll find out should you ever build a layout. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.